Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. Hope that you're doing well on this Wednesday, the Wednesday before the 4th of July. Everybody's getting excited about the big weekend, and fireworks galore is scheduled for Troy, and they say that it will start at 8:30 on Sunday, but Dan Smith was telling me today that it's going to be closer to 8 to 9 o'clock for the fireworks because of you don't know exactly when that sky is going to get dark, totally dark, and that's what we want for beautiful fireworks. In fact, the fireworks in Troy probably rates as high as any around, even in the big cities of Montgomery and Dothan. Troy's fireworks has always been excellent, and there shouldn't be any reason to expect any different as we get ready to celebrate our nation's birthday, the 4th of July. As we start this day, of course, there's a lot going on in Troy. Big baseball tournament going on right now. Teams from all over the Southeast are here in Troy to play in a 11th and 12th age group. It's playing they're considered the finest baseball players in their states, and they're here in Troy this weekend. So if you want to see some good baseball, get on out because they're playing every day. And I think there's two teams from the state of Alabama playing in the tournament, so and a few Troy players. So we'll try to get some more information on that as we look forward to the weekend. Of course, right now we've got baseball going on and with two tournament teams. Good morning. How you doing?
Morning. How about them Bulldogs? Big win by state last night.
Tell us about it.
Well, they won 13-2. They'll play tonight. They'll have to go against the great Rocker kid, Tracy Rocker's son, Camille Rocker, who a lot of people think will be a top 5 pick in the Major League Baseball draft. So
they're
going to have to earn it tonight.
Of course, a big win for Mississippi State, and now they're so it's for the championship. That's the thing I like. They're playing for the championship tonight, of the College World Series, and now who do you think Vanderbilt will throw? They've got some good pitching, I know.
Vanderbilt's throwing Rocker.
Oh, well, excuse me, Rocker, but who will State throw? They've got a couple of good pitchers left, don't they?
State will probably throw their ace. He's on 3 days rest, so nobody's really sure how many innings he'll be able to pitch. They had a 2-hour rain delay last night, too. That kind of hurt.
Oh, I know it. Gosh, I know it. Troy had a heavy rain last night. Did you feel it, Rice? Did you? Boy, it was coming down pretty good. We expect, though, that they finished that game yesterday. Mike, they've got a tournament in Troy right now with some of the best high school talent in the states of Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, are right here in Troy playing some good baseball this weekend or this week.
Yeah, I know. I just got a text from Rebecca Amos, your daughter. She's going to be calling in and talking about Wimbledon at 7:15.
Okay, look forward to it. And, of course, she knows a lot about tennis, and I'm looking forward to it. Bill Rice?
Serena Williams got injured yesterday, so that's big news.
Yeah, I doubt if she'll finish out. She wasn't able to complete it, was she?
I'm looking at the messenger, and I see a story about one of our Dixie Bells teams playing in the preparing for the state tournament. Well, remember last year we didn't have all these state tournaments and district tournaments, so that's a big deal that they can compete for these trophies now.
In fact, Troy's 11 and under and Troy's 7 and under played for championships. One of them against rival Enterprise, and they lost that one. And so both teams have been eliminated from play, but at the same time, played all the way to the championship game, and you can't do much better than that, can you?
No. Takes me back decades to when I was the sports editor of the Troy Messenger once upon. You remember that, don't you?
Oh,
Rick?
Yeah.
In the early '90s, and man, I thought I was really busy in football season trying to cover all these high school teams in Troy University, pretty much all by myself. But I always remember the summer, these tournament games were huge, and so you were trying to cover teams from 8 years old to 18 years old playing in summer leagues. But now I'm thinking about the sports editor, Mike Kinsley, and the number of teams has proliferated since I was sports editor, because you have boys and girls teams.
That's right.
And they've also narrowed the age gaps. Like it used to be, I would cover a Dixie boys team that was 13 and 14-year-olds. Now they have a team just for 13-year-olds and a team just for 14. So there must be, where I used to try to cover 5 teams, there must be 25 teams.
No question about it. Now there's a 7 and under, there's a 8 and under, there's a 9 and under, and 10 and under. And
I would have a nervous breakdown.
And Troy is one of a mecca for that area, that type of baseball. Troy's 11 and under fell to Dothan in the state championship game, 5-3. So. The 11 and under had been eliminated in the championship game, and so has the 7 and under. So congratulations! Can't do much better than that, can you?
Well, this is an exciting time for all these young ladies and men. So good luck and congratulations on getting as far as you did.
I wanted to mention, of course, the Troy Bales, coached by a very familiar name, Scott Reeder, and buddy, what a great coach he is. He takes all these girls every time they come up, and boy, he knows how to get them prepared for this tournament, and they'll be getting ready during the 4th for a big tournament, and I'm saying I want to say they're going to be playing at the Troy Sportsplex. So
I'll take
that's going to be good.
I'll take you back to when I was 12 years old on one of these Dixie Youth tournament teams. It was a huge deal. We made it all the way to Montgomery, won our first 2 games, and ended up finishing tied for 2nd in the state. So we were runners up in the state. You know how big a deal it was? WTBF broadcast our games live on the radio, and I mean it was packed bleachers when we played up there at Lagoon, wherever we played. I can't remember.
Well, I want to restate what I said. The tournament will begin in Enterprise. It's going to be played in Enterprise. The Dixie Bells going for another state tournament, next state championship. We're looking forward to seeing how they compete.
I remember the first World Series that a Troy team won in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which you went and covered for Troy Cablevision.
Sure did.
And then that was a huge deal. I was sports editor in the early '90s when that happened. But then, Troy was so impressed by that Dan Smith and Bo Gaylord said, let's get us one of those. And then we later hosted some World Series.
You're right,
and they did it thanks to all the people, the volunteers that did that. Because Troy, it's hard to believe a town hosting a better first-class World Series than Troy did.
Yeah. And, the thing was, Bo Gaylord saw that what they did in Rock Hill, South Carolina, all they did was move the pitcher's mound back. I want to say 58, and then they already had a 300-foot fence, so they just added a mound, and they were ready to go.
They used softball.
Moved the bases back, and they were ready. And that softball complex turned into an excellent youth baseball park. And then, boy, they've had many games since.
Well, the state tournaments probably draw more people because people can come and drive 2 or 3 hours. To go to Rock Hill, South Carolina, that took a little commitment of time. And then I think about all the softball tournaments the Sportsplex has hosted. My father-in-law, Frank Friars, played softball until he was 70 years old. But I'm just was kind of surprised to learn that there are tons of people that, into their 40s, 50s, 60s play softball, and then they move around and they want tournaments. And they come and they get hotel rooms and they buy meals and they go to convenience stores and buy Gatorade and ice. So all the predictions they made about if we build the Sportsplex, they will come. They did come.
Hope you're having a great morning this morning. Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach. Mike, how'd you look for the weekend?
Nice when I here yesterday. We went to our favorite restaurant last night, Brago.
Oh boy! Did you have Italian food? What'd you have?
Yeah, I had some angel hair pasta with shrimp. That was wonderful, and we had some arancini, which is like fried rice balls with red sauce on them. That's really good.
Sounds good.
Never heard of it.
But we had a good night. We met our friends Jeff and Carolyn have a place down here from Birmingham. And,
well, did you leave the children at home?
Yeah, we had the nanny babysitter that we had for a while. That she came and kept them and got home around 9 o'clock.
Good. They had a big time.
Wanted to mention travel with the Trojans. Road game tickets are on sale now to the Troy ticket office. If you want to go see Troy against Southern Miss on September the 18th, it'll cost you $40. If you want to go to the ULM Long Monroe game, it'll be $25. They have plenty of tickets available. They said for the South Carolina trip on October the 2nd, that'll be $40. If you want to go see Troy against San Marcos, Texas, against Texas State, how about this? $17.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if you want to go see the Coastal Carolina game, only $25 a ticket. And if you want to go see the Georgia State game in Atlanta, that's only a $20 ticket. So these are very reasonable ticket prices.
Now, how long do you have to order your tickets? I mean, on up to game time or what? A weekend?
It says basically the South Carolina games can be purchased through the Troy ticket office by visiting TroyTrojans.com or by calling 877-878-WINS-9467. All season ticket holders can call the ticket office to purchase seats for the other 5 games.
Okay, it sounds good.
I would say the Southern Miss game and the South Carolina game would be the one.
Now, Mike, I have not purchased my football tickets yet, but I can still do so. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Yeah. Hopefully, Mike Amos coming in by Zoom TV. We'll be seeing his face in a moment.
Yeah, we're gonna hear Rebecca's voice.
I'm gonna get on Zoom in a little while. I'm about to eat some bacon and biscuits right now.
Are you really? But of course, ain't that great that you can just walk around the corner and eat at a world-class restaurant like Barago's? Wouldn't you say it was that good, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
It's the top restaurant down here, in my opinion. It's been in it for over 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I like good Italian food. Boy, that just makes it. With those, here comes a call in.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Good morning. It's Rebecca. How are you?
Hey, Rebecca. This is Bill Rice. Good to hear your voice.
My sweet daughter Rebecca calling in from Birmingham this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope you're doing great. Good morning to everybody. Is Michael there too?
Yeah, he's here by way of Zoom.
Yeah, Rebecca sounds a lot more chipper than I do this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Rebecca's got that radio voice, and of course, a wonderful, wonderful voice calling in from Birmingham this morning. How's things going?
Going good. It's a busy week, and a lot of people are getting ready for the 4th of July. And we've been talking about Wimbledon. We haven't been talking on air. And so you asked me to call because for so many people, by the time the 4th comes around, they can kick back and enjoy some things. And for us, that was always a tradition at the beach, watching Wimbledon through the years. And for me, that developed into being a big tennis fan.
Well, I know
So
you
we
are.
were watching this morning. A lot of people have work and other obligations, but it means getting them early because in England it's 6 hours ahead of us. And so it's 5 a.m. the coverage on ESPN and ESPN2 for anybody that wants to check it out. The championship goes through July the 12th. And it's been some headline-making days the past few days because Serena Williams was going for number 24 to finally tie Margaret Court for all-time Grand Slams, and she slipped and fell yesterday. And so that was a big disappointment for so many tennis fans around the world. It resonated as another tearful ending for Serena Williams. And for anybody that's fans of tennis, it's not just about Serena. We've got great American women that have come together that are making some big, big headlines in the sport. And so she definitely has people that will follow in her footsteps. But for people that are also thinking about the past and how Serena has meant so much to the game, and as she edges up towards 40 years old, she's somebody that we were watching, and hopefully she'll do it later.
All right, you know, it was a sister combo for a long time. What happened to the other sister? Did she just sort of retire or what?
Venus is now 40, and Venus won yesterday in 3 tight sets, and so she continues at Wimbledon. She's a big 5-time champion of the sport there, and she's great on grass. She definitely is not with the game she had in the past, but she is looking forward to another round, and everybody's very nostalgic about that as well.
How do the two sisters compare?
It's one of those things where you wouldn't have Serena without Venus, because Venus being the big sister, she led the game. She was able to make her sister the best. When you have the top 2 players in the world competing at home in practice, their father started them off as being the coach. It's one of those things where they are a tandem, extremely close. There never seemed to be this sibling rivalry. They brought out the best in each other. And so historically, you would say Serena was the better player, but Venus definitely was someone that, as being the big sister myself, and you look at her and you appreciate what she meant and how she handled so many losses head-to-head with Serena and did it with that big...
Let me I'm going to make a point. You know, I follow a little tennis. So you've got Serena has how many Grand Slams? 24?
23, going for 24 now.
Martina Navratilova, which actually was not born in America, but she became an American citizen. How many did she have?
She had 20, along with Chris Everett, who tied her with 20 at the end.
Chris Everett had 20 Grand Slams too?
Is that amazing?
She did. She did. And what the big thing is with Navratilova is she also had all those doubles championships and mixed doubles championships. So she took it to another level, and she took fitness to another level. But you're right, with her starting out in the former Czechoslovakia, Navratilova found herself having to play catch-up in fitness, catch-up in the opportunity to really compete, and Chris Everett drove Martina, and now they're friends. At the time, the biggest of rivals.
Well, here's where I'm going. I'm trying to rank them. So we got Serena, Martina, Chrissy, and then I would guess, well, Billie Jean King, and then somewhere right behind Billie Jean King probably is Venus Williams. I think you said she's had 5 Wimbledon titles. I don't know how many Grand Slams she's had. So
what about the great Steffi Graf?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, she was great.
Michael, you can't forget Steffi Graf. Steffi won the Golden Slam, which is something that Novak Djokovic is trying to do in an Olympic year, is win all the majors plus the Olympics.
But
so
Stephanie is...
Bill and Michael, they are historical figures, all for unique reasons. When you think Billie Jean King, you think of equality for women in pay. Women get paid higher in professional tennis than any other sport in the world. And so you look at what they've done, and their contribution has been very unique, each one of the figures.
Yeah. Well, that family has really.
I'll also say this: is it seems that the women, although Venus and Serena dominate the coverage and are by far our best, it seems that America has more top 20 type women's tennis players than on the men's side. I mean, since Sampras disappeared, I mean, there's been no American man that's really been competitive that I can think of.
Andy Roddick was the last winner, and that was that.
When did Margaret Court even play? I've never even heard of her.
Oh,
Yeah, she was the first.
Aussie. She played in the 70s for the most part of her career, 60s, 70s. And it's where she won a lot of her majors down in Australia at a time when people weren't going there regularly to play. At one time, that tournament was held in December, so if you can imagine people ending the holiday season didn't really go down. And she also was what we called in the era that wasn't open, so you didn't have the whole competition that you have now. So people weigh Serena as having weighted-wise a more important, substantial career, even having won this Grand Slam, because she has had higher competition.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, you know,
but you were talking about, to answer your question, we are very loaded down with great American girls. Our Olympic team, Serena has opted not to go. We have Sophia Kenin, as well as Jen Brady, Coco Gauff, which is making huge headlines, native of Atlanta. She's only 17, and she is advancing in all these tournaments to the point where she really could be better for many, many people. And then Jessica Pegula. Jessica's a name you probably haven't heard if you're not a big tennis fan, but she is billionaire Terry Pegula's daughter. He's the owner of the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres. And she has found herself in a position after years of fighting, entering into her late 20s as a big competitor and advancing in this year more than ever in her career after overcoming some injuries. And so she's one to watch as well that you could throw out there as somebody you don't hear about every
That's
day.
interesting. I remember tennis as the sport where 14, 15, 16-year-olds could dominate and do well, and it's so rare that you have somebody in their late 20s that's emerging in the sport.
of course, you know my two.
Dad, it says Venus Williams, Serena's sister, has won 49 career titles, 7 Grand Slam single titles, 5 Wimbledons, and 2 U.S. Opens.
So she's had a pretty good career.
7. So that would be like Nick Faldo and Tom Watson or Lee Trevino in golf. So not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Well,
Anybody would take any career.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, who is the best, you think, of the two?
Serena, by far.
Serena is, as far as the numbers go, but we all have our fan favorites, and I've always loved Venus's game.
Yeah.
Venus had a lot of finesse.
Yeah.
You have a lot of power with Serena. Really, both of them are unbelievable players. And so,
well, you said that was Venus. That was Venus, or that was
That's Venus, the older sister, that's
the
pretty
older-
much retired. But you say she still plays a little.
she does play. She's not with the rankings to get into everything, but she's clearly getting wild cards because of her name at places like Wimbledon, where she's won the 5 titles. And so she's made it into the second round. We'll see her again if you tune in to ESPN, ESPN2. She does have the second round match, and we hope she'll continue to advance.
Venus, I like Venus's personality better. She seems nicer and funner and more approachable than Serena, who has occasional meltdowns. And that said, Serena is she doesn't get enough credit as being one of the all-time great athletes in any sport in America. Period.
You know, they've played for championships how many times against each other?
As far as the head-to-head, I don't have that in front of me, but it is true that there were heartbreaking moments where you would see the two play, and you would only feel for the parents that were in the stadium watching these events, and it was where most of the time it went the way of Serena.
Yep.
Rebecca, why haven't we seen more of this? You think about it, that's the only sister combination I can think of that's ever been so successful, and you don't see that anymore. And when these guys quit, what are we going to do? What are us Americans going to do for women's tennis?
Well, again, we have some young ones, and I'm going to put Coco Gauff because she's making a lot of headlines for fans. And to Bill's point about younger people now not getting the headlines as much as the older folks into their 20s and 30s, and these careers extending upwards to 40 years old, including with Roger Federer right now, which is a whole other story we can go into. But the answer is that they decided with the WTA, the women's tennis, years back, to limit the amount of tournaments you could enter as a young person. It used to be where you could freely play at 16. Now to play the tournament wholly, you need to be 18. We're limited otherwise, including the schedule of Coco Gauff right now. They're not getting as many points early, so therefore their tennis is limited. They're trying to be easier on the body and their mind. They had some young tennis players back in the day, like Capriati, if you remember Jennifer Capriati, that really failed with the mental problem of competing in and out.
Yeah, who was the good champion that was actually stabbed by a crazy fan? Yeah. She was real good, real young too. Yeah.
Safety grab,
Monica Seles.
Yeah. Monica Seles.
Yeah, she won 9 Grand Slams.
And did her after he?
With that, she was stabbed in Germany as she was completely dominating Steffi Graf in that time period, and a German fan stabbed her to hopefully make Steffi Graf once again #1, and that actually happened at the time.
Steffi Graf is phenomenal. 22 Grand Slam titles, 4 Australian Opens, 6 French Opens, 7 Wimbledons, and 5 U.S. Opens. So she won 22 Grand Slams.
All right, hey, listen, how much money these girls win? Who's the leading money winner of all?
Well, what's great, back to equality again, is that women get equal pay in most of these with the men at the Grand Slams. These Grand Slam tournaments, they can win $3 to $4 million. And so it's huge money, not counting the sponsorships they're getting.
Yeah. Serena's won the most money of all time, Dad. She's won $96 million.
$96 million.
Career prize money.
And that, that old papa of hers was awfully smart to say, well, I'll just take these 2 girls and I'll become a multi-millionaire or billionaire, whatever. That's probably about what they're worth.
Rebecca, you're one of the few people. Rebecca's one of the few people I know that have actually been to Wimbledon. When did you go to Wimbledon to watch matches?
Well, I have to say I haven't watched them during the time there, so I've just been to England when it hasn't been going on. But I have gone to other tournaments, and actually me and my father here, we went to the Italian Open, which was even a better venue than going to Roland Garros or some of the bigger slams, because we were in such an intimate place to be able to see top tennis.
Your favorite,
that experience. What did you think about it?
Actually, you've been to the U.S. Open too, though, haven't you?
I have been a few times there. I have.
But let me.
That's a great place in Flushing Meadows.
Let me tell.
That atmosphere.
Yeah. Let's tell a little story, Rebecca. We woke up. We were going to go watch tennis when we were in Rome, and but you were real sad that Nadal, who is by far your favorite tennis player, was going to was scheduled to play that morning or something, and he had to cancel out. And it turned out that he played that night when we went to see him, and you could have reached out and touched Nadal in that match. The entire match, he was right on top of us.
And that's again Rome on clay, which was something else. And that was amazing because those tickets were purchased before we went overseas. We didn't even know where he would be in the tournament, if he'd still be in the tournament. And we certainly didn't know if the course for the session that we were scheduled would be his match. Yeah. So that was a dream come true.
Well, tell us about...
He's a Nadal fan, and he opted not to play Wimbledon this year. So right now, as far as the draw goes, because they're real big with the numbers, they have a lot of places that they legally bet in Great Britain on this tournament, it's really Djokovic's match, or it's his whole tournament to win. And it's where if he does win, Novak Djokovic from Serbia, he will tie. It will be a 3-way tie for all-time men's Grand Slams at 20. Right now, Djokovic 19, Roger Federer, and Rafa Nadal at 20. So that's a huge thing right now for history, and as they say, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Who will it be at the end of the day? Will everyone have their favorite and their opinion? Certainly they will, about who's the best. Rafa on clay is unmatched. No one has done what he's done. He's won 13 Roland Garros French Open championships.
He's the most athletic.
So,
when you say to me, yeah. Of course,
I like my favorite is Federer. I like the way he carries himself.
He's great. He's got great style. He does limp into the second round, and it's where he did have a walkover. He was going into the first round yesterday when the Frenchman who was playing decided that he had to quit due to injury, and so he considered himself lucky. And he's had injury, he's had surgery, and so Federer says, I'm not here at 40 just to extend this for nothing. I want to win. We'll see if he wins again. So right now, he does come in as not being the favorite as far as everything going for him. He lost the warm-up
Well, you know, these three tennis players, now I don't believe there's ever been three just, well, you know,
that
tennis,
good at that time,
you know, just
time.
great players as those three. Tell us about them, Rebecca. What kind of people are they and whatever?
Well, they all come from different backgrounds. You have Roger, who's from Switzerland, who came from a very simple middle-class type background, and he advanced into his 20s without winning originally very young, and then he found himself on this path of now being tied with history at 20 all time. And he has two sets of twins he travels with. He has two girls and two boys. It looks like miracles.
Does he really? Yeah. Wait a minute. I want you to say that again.
He has two sets of twins.
All right. Tell them who this is.
Federer. Roger Federer. The great Federer.
He's got 4 kids. How old are they?
Michael can look this up because I'm not in front of the computer, but the girls are roughly 10, the boys probably 6 right now.
Yeah.
But they're very young, and they go everywhere with him. And he has been in the year of COVID, not going to some of the tournaments, not only due to his injury, his rehabbing, but because if he can't take the family, he doesn't want to be in what they call a bubble.
Well, you know what I say, he's a classy guy that's more American than the rest of them, it seems like. He seems like he's much more American.
Yeah, he speaks great English.
Well, he's from right on the German border, so he is Swiss German in his background. Then you have Novak, who is from Serbia, so he came up in a time of war in Serbia, and when they didn't have great tennis courts and facilities, his father was in deep with loan sharks to try to make a career for him. They bet everything on this guy making it to get them out of that debt, to give them the opportunities in life. And here he is, right now again, the favorite to tie the all-time as far as the Grand Slams at 20 at the end of this tournament.
He seems like a very, very, very nice guy. All three of them seem to be great people.
The most important thing, though, is who's the youngest? Who's got the chance to win the most?
Well, that's where you have Roger at 40, Rafa's 35, Novak's 34 years old. So you look at those ages, and so you would say that really anything is bonus right now for Federer, for Roger Federer. And the other two are neck and neck on ages, but I think because of the game of Rafa at 35, his body has taken a toll because it's a very physical game for him. The other two are more finesse players. So we'll see how that works out. But right now it doesn't seem like Djokovic suffers in 5-set matches. He can go the distance and has proven that his body, and even more importantly, his mind holds up in those moments.
Well, you know, if you looked at him, if you stood them all side by side, Nadal, though, is really, really more physical than all of them. He looks like a Hercules playing tennis.
Absolutely.
Hey, who did you say that? What was the last American male to win a Grand Slam singles tournament?
That would be Roddick.
He only won one, didn't he?
He only won one, but he is now in the Hall of Fame for it.
No, what year was that, though? I'm trying to see how long it's been since.
2005, Michael. Can you check that for me?
So let's say that.
Yeah.
15 years, ladies and gentlemen, since an American has won a major tennis tournament. 15 years. Yeah.
And it was sort of by luck in a way when he won.
I mean, when I was watching tennis, it was the sport was dominated by Americans. I mean, I can go back to Arthur Ashe, then you had Jimmy Connors, then you had Patrick and then you had McEnroe, and then several others.
You know, I like Connors. And
The Courier.
Oh, yeah, and Sampras, Agassi.
It was a golden era for a while.
What happened? I mean, it just American teenagers and kids must have quit playing tennis, or everybody else in the world took up the sport. Because you've noticed this, I'm sure, Rebecca. I've covered some college tennis tournaments, especially in Montgomery at the Blue-Gray tournament. And I've noticed that, 95% of these rosters of college tennis teams are international players. There are no Americans on American college tennis teams.
Amazing. All right.
Roddy won it in 2003, Rebecca.
And yeah.
Okay.
17 years.
Where the globalization is what Andy Roddick himself speaks of, that you're saying, Bill, that it is an international sport more than ever, and so you are finding that the competition is heavier. But I would almost say it comes down to a desire. You find sometimes the people that need it most to pull their families up from hard conditions, their families spend everything because it's so expensive to pay for these coaches and opportunities at a young age, that in countries where that doesn't come easy, it seems like you get some tough players. When it comes easy to you, like some of the Americans have it with great academies and all kinds of opportunities with the resources, sometimes they get complacent making that little money at the beginning and feeling good about it and not putting in the effort much after.
But
so I don't know if that's too judgmental, but as a fan, sometimes that's what I see.
All right, let me ask you this. It's more of a country club type of sport. Look at Connors and look at McEnroe, two spoiled, rotten brats. But I tell you what, tennis has never, ever been as good since those two guys left us.
I watched it.
Boy, I loved it when they went at it.
And then the contrast was Bjorn Borg, who was McEnroe's big rival, and I think he was from Switzerland too, and he was so classy and cool, and the opposite of McEnroe.
Would you agree with that, Rebecca? It's a country club type sport.
You definitely have those people. A lot of our California players, you see that country club part of this, but then you do also still have your inner city people now that are finding the sport, and that's thanks to Venus and Serena. There are a lot of kids that have been inspired by them. They came up from Compton, California, no country club around, public courts, and this is where we're trying as a country to make this more of an even sport. But no question the past is full of the wealthy and the privileged.
Yeah. But, and again...
I just encourage everybody listening today to go out to the Jimmy Lunsford Tennis Complex and start playing tennis.
That's right. You know what? And you ride by there, and it's more or less 3 or 4 courts always ready to play.
Oh, yeah. Nobody.
There's nobody playing tennis.
Well, you think about some of these people that are playing basketball that are so good, or some of these defensive backs that are so quick. Yeah, America is full of people that if they would have taken up tennis and got a love and passion for it at age 10, would be world class.
And if you think about it, the money is wide open. The money is wide open. Of course, those sisters have dominated the money for over the years. But Rebecca,
yeah, I could have been a professional badminton player. Badminton player, but I don't know if I could have played badminton in college. Off scholarship for that.
I can't remember the guy's name, White, or he was a real good point guard in the NBA. But he was actually a great tennis player too. He was ranked in the top 300 or so, playing outside of basketball season. Yeah. But that's an example of a great basketball player that also dabbled in tennis and was really good at it. You know why I know his story is because one person he played as a young professional was Mac Jones' daddy, the quarterback at Alabama. He was a professional tennis player, and these two guys once had a match. Okay. That's
all right, Rebecca, we're going to go on break right here. We'll be right back.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
but because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
Refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care.
You know how we all want health care to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did. Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
Back to our show, brought to you by our good friends at Town and Country Flooring, and of course also they've got the best grills in America located. You can buy the finest grills in America right there at Town and Country today. And hey, no better time to buy a new grill than this time, getting ready for the 4th of July. You know those old big green eggs?
Yeah,
they've got
great.
them, and they've got a lot of.
My brother Rush and Bobby both love their big green eggs.
But you know, there's another grill out there that is not quite as the cost, and is just as good right there, and you can get that grill also at Town and Country. And
you know, I've had my brother's steaks on the big green egg, and you know they are better.
Yeah.
Something I don't know
what do you think about it? What did the morning think?
It was super hot, is what I understand. I mean, it cooks them at 800 degrees as opposed to 400. I don't know, but
what is your mind about that grill, Michael? Are you on, Mike?
Yeah. I mean, I've actually never cooked on a green egg, but I have.
Yeah, the people that like them love them, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. My friends, I got my friends that
I have a $100 gas grill. It's been good to me.
Yeah, but of course it's a great opportunity to buy a grill today at Town and Country. Back to Rebecca Amos, ladies and gentlemen, my daughter calling in from Birmingham. She loves tennis and really has a great. She's been following tennis a long time. What made you follow Nadal? You think he's cute, or you think he's a good player?
Well,
both?
The whole thing with tennis is being international. There's a cultural experience that comes with it, and that's what I love. I love the diversity in it. For him, anybody that watches the effort he puts into the sport, it's not hard to be a fan. It's the true desire to play point for point and to fight to the end. He's a true warrior player. And it came very natural. We never know why we become fans of somebody, but definitely he is my player. As I mentioned before the break, he didn't go to Wimbledon. He had a tough Roland Garros, and it was only 2 weeks between the two majors this year. So he did opt out of Wimbledon to stay off the grass. But you were wanting to know about the backgrounds, and we did go into Djokovic a bit. We went into the whole thing with Roger and his twins. With Rafa, he is married to his longtime high school sweetheart, if you will, and he has no kids. He's on the road, and for years that meant his uncle, Tony Nadal, who brought Rafa up in the game. That's who made him the success he is. And now Tony runs Rafa's academy on the island of Mallorca in Spain. And it's where he's now working actually now with some other players, including a real good Canadian that's up and coming. But with Tony not being the coach, his coach now is Carlos Moya, who's from the same place, Mallorca, and was also a French Open champion. And so that's who goes on the road as well as some other assistant coaches. Francis Roy.
Hey, Rebecca, what is the, are they allowing full attendance in London? I doubt they are. In Wimbledon?
It's half attendance, but they're filling up really well. They're making it look great on TV, but it is supposed to be only half the people in there at all times. The players are staying 100% in the bubble with a few select coaches downtown, and they're being bussed in. And that has to be done very organized. And if anybody comes up in your bubble with COVID, as happened with the number one British female a few days ago, they're out. And so it's very sensitive when you think of people being vaccinated and times being a bit better. We're still dealing with that over there, and it's zero tolerance.
Yeah. All right, tell us about the next guy. The three top tennis players in the world right now, and tell us about the third one.
Well, we didn't go as much into Novak Djokovic, but he does have two kids, married to one Jelena, and his family, they have businesses now all over Serbia. He's been able to bring them up out of what, again, was a poverty situation based on war and all kinds of issues when he was growing up. And it's where he lives the life. He lives in Monte Carlo, as well as having a residence in Serbia. And as you mentioned, if they don't start country club, they certainly can end country club and elite in their life and their private jets. I mean, when you talk about flying around the world with Federer, for example, when you have the private plane to take you from hotel to hotel, literally these people, their travel's the best, their dining's the best, they have people to help them in every area.
Yeah, you know what, though, I'm gonna make a point, and I bet you've thought of this, and maybe you'll agree with me. Tennis seems to be largely dominated, males and females, by about 8 people, let's say, that you can really expect to win a tournament.
That's
so
right.
those people must do really well. But what about the other hundreds that are struggling to be ranked and, are happy if they make it to the quarterfinals? That must be quite a grind and expense, and they're not getting these big paydays or don't have these private jets, I wouldn't think. The people that are ranked 80th in the world.
This is something they bring up a lot on the ATP. So you have board members, and for years, both Nadal and Federer on the board have been lobbying for players like you're talking about, your journeyman player. Because you're right, it is an elite thing, and the first round prize money for people now entering these draws is where they have baseline, where they're making huge, we're talking $50,000, $75,000 just to basically make the tournament or to show up. And so with that kind of money, that's a way that you could be an early loser and still come out ahead. So no one's doing so bad when they're on the main tour. It's the people that are in the challengers, as we call them, people that are still trying to make their way up to where you see the elite level.
It's almost like those top 3 are paying the other guys to play so that they can win the biggest money. The big money.
I'll tell a little tennis anecdote that talks about how the best makes the point that the best players in college tennis in America can't even crack the top 400 rankings in the world. When I lived in Montgomery, I covered the Blue-Gray Tennis Classic a lot, and Tennessee played in it one year. Rebecca might know this guy's name. He was the SEC Player of the Year for several years and an All-American. And he came to Montgomery and he won the singles at the Blue-Gray with the 8 teams there. Matter of fact, the year that Cam Newton won the Heisman Trophy, the SEC Male Athlete of the Year was this kid. Now, he played at Tennessee. Of course, he wasn't from America. He was from Australia.
Oh, okay.
I interviewed him. Couldn't have been nicer. And then the promoter of the Blue-Gray tournament up there just bragged about this kid. Well, of course, I watched him after he graduated and had this spectacular college career. I think he's barely one time he might have cracked the top 200 in the pros. So, the best of the best in college. Nobody's even heard his name in the pros.
Do you know who that was, Rebecca?
Australia.
I wonder if he's somebody. Do you know if he's excelled in doubles now?
I hope he. No, I don't know. But you can look up University of Tennessee, great tennis player, former SEC Athlete of the Year. He played about probably 12, 15 years ago at Tennessee.
Yeah. But this topic is really intriguing for me. Of course, we're talking about Wimbledon. Now, over in England, betting is huge on tennis. Is that right?
It's big on everything, I think. Betting.
It really is completely legal, and right now you would say the betting odds, not only with Djokovic, but on the women's side, most likely with Ash Barty. She's the #1 player in the world on the women's side, and she's an Aussie. And she really does have a great grass court game, all-court game, so that's who we would be looking at in those terms. But it's where right now there's a lot going on in Great Britain with the game because Andy Murray returned. We should mention him. He was part of what we called the Big Four, and he has had major injuries, major surgery, but he did pull out a win yesterday, and it's where they're hoping that he'll continue and have a real run at this. At least in nostalgic goodbye.
Hadn't he won at least one Wimbledon championship?
He has won 2, and he's been a finalist at another, and it's where he is going into the Olympics for the UK. He'll be defending 2 in a row as far as being Olympic champion gold medalist. And so he's going to go from number 3 when he goes to Tokyo. And really, he would like to have a longer career, but whether this is one of those things where he finds the body doesn't hold up, that's yet to be determined. So just the fact that he won, and it looked like he was going to win easy in 3 sets yesterday, and it ended up being where the person came back he was playing after he was up 5-love in the third. This player came back and beat him in the third.
Oh, wow.
7-5, and he had to go to a fourth.
Of course.
So it's where consistency is everything. We'll see what happens.
I remember what a huge story it was when he won because, I mean, here we are in England, the most famous tennis tournament of them all, the Masters of the tennis tournaments, and they never had a male tennis champion, in the modern era until Andy Murray broke through and did it.
That's right. He's a hero.
That's right. A man from Scotland, and he is also officially knighted. He's Sir Andy Murray. No thought there. To your point, Bill.
Well, is he a playboy type or what?
Oh, no. He's got 3 children, married for a long time, very happy. It's just the fact that he's knighted by the Queen, and so he's officially considered, as Bill's saying, not somebody that comes around every day. Based on his
all right.
Just like Sir Nick Faldo.
That's right.
A knight.
Yeah.
Britain has more good golfers than Britain has had tennis players. It's kind of like the guy from Japan that finally broke through and won a major. Andy Murray would be the equivalent of that guy in tennis in England.
I think of tennis in McEnroe and Connors. Boy, what a great rivalry. But Connors was 4 years old in McEnroe, wasn't he?
That I don't know their exact age. Michael, maybe you can look that up too.
I don't know, but
it's true that they were head to head, and we would watch them year in and year out. And as you said, they didn't like each other a lot. We've talked about that in the past.
But I bet you the TV audience.
To them.
I bet you the TV audience with McEnroe and Connors was way bigger than these guys. They were great players.
I bet the best tennis ratings ever were.
Exactly.
The best tennis match I've ever seen was a McEnroe Borg 5-set marathon.
That was great. That was great tennis, and this is great tennis here too, with the rivalry between these three giants.
Connors is 68. McEnroe is 62.
You mean Connors is 68 years old?
Yeah.
Golly. Now McEnroe still plays, doesn't he?
He's been playing with And so though what's so impressive, and stayed so fit, you would see him in the senior matches pulling an Andy Roddick and a Jim Courier and other names that are 25, 35 years younger, and he could give them all a run for their money. He was really able to stay fit and in the game, and he has his own academy.
You know, I'd like to know who is the oldest player to ever win big in
Win a
tennis.
Grand Slam? That's good.
Who's the oldest player to ever win big in tennis?
We might take out of the open era. I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's where you used to have people that could win up until around 40 years old, but it wasn't in the open era. It was at a time when you had your pros and you had your amateurs, and so it's hard, as they say, to compare generations of tennis when you go from wood racket to all the technology now. So the big thing, it looks like, because of health, nutrition, and good training, that it is possible to have a solid career and be competitive, because Federer thinks he can win again. 40 years old. We'll see what happens, but he definitely would be the oldest in this era.
Well, look at Tom Brady just won the Super Bowl, and how old is Tom Brady? He's in his 40s.
If you're looking for a superstar among those three, who would it be?
The superstar among the top three, as we're talking about Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, it really has everything to do with what you like. You have Anna Wintour from Vogue magazine. She's always on top of everything Roger Federer. You have Rafa, who's all over commercial success in Europe and doing all the big commercial campaigns. You have Novak, and as far as him, he's a big lacrosse person. I don't know how you would rank it, because we all have our biases. We like them based on geography. We like them based on personality. We like them based on their game style. For me, it's going to be Rafa because of the fact that, as you said, it's an all-persons athlete. You could love Rafa and not be a tennis fan, because you can see the athleticism, the desire to win, and that fight resonates across all kinds of sports.
Who's got the best personality?
So the greatest American player of all time is Pete Sampras with 14 Grand Slams. Is that correct?
Pete was the record holder before these three broke him. They thought Pete would never be broken, and here you have Rafa one shy of Pete's record just on the clay of Roland Garros. So that is true. Now, I think they're going to start some yard work where I live, so it's getting loud. But one thing, there's so many levels to this. I want to make one connection with golf, because golf was mentioned, and we're talking about American men and where are they going to be. But there is a Sebastian Korda that is now doing excellent, a young tennis player for America. His sister is Nelly Korda, who just won the Women's PGA Championship, and it's the #1 golfer in the world for females. And so he is somebody whose father has been a Grand Slam champion. His father was Peter Korda of the Czech Republic. But now this young man growing up in the U.S. is somebody we can look to. So think of that name, Sebastian Korda. We'll see how the career goes.
Yeah, we need somebody. Let's go, Sebastian.
Yes. And he's in through to the second round now. But right now they are doing yard work where I live, and it's a big roar. So I was encouraging everyone to watch Wimbledon once again through July 12th on ESPN. And it's wonderful to talk tennis. Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, I tell you what, you still
Rebecca.
got some things that I wanted to hear. You know, out of those top three, who stands out as a person more than anybody else? Are they all just first class? Are they all just first class?
Organizations, but it's true. We all have these charities that work with. Roger's mother was from South Africa. He works heavily with South Africa. Rafa, he has a foundation that he works all over the world, a lot going on in India and Asia. And Djokovic has also equally big fundraisers he does after the U.S. Open, usually every year. They're very good at giving back, and you couldn't judge one over the other.
Let me ask you, I got a question, Mike. What is I'm thinking of tennis in America. So we've got the U.S. Open. I mean, what are the other big tournaments that anybody even comes to and plays in America besides the U.S. Open? Can you name 5, or is there just 2 or 3 that even attract a crowd?
Right now, there's a Miami Open that's held. It was at Key Biscayne for years, but now it's there where the Dolphins play at the Hard Rock. And so that one is a huge tournament. And also Indian Wells is out in California. It's the Oracle owner that puts on that tournament. Those two are considered the closest thing to Grand Slams outside of the U.S. Open. And that really kicks things off as far as our spring hard court season. They have been affected. Indian Wells hit this year and last year. Miami returned this year. And so those are big money tournaments, and they attract people who consider the 1,000 events. So they get 1,000 points for winning that. That's big on the rankings, big on the money. Yeah. And that brings players from all over the world.
Rebecca, something's really going to happen when these 3 go. Tennis is going to lose a lot of its glamour.
Power.
Really, when these 3 goes, tennis is going to really suffer.
It's like you got to have stars in the pipeline all the time.
And they don't have any right now, Rebecca. It doesn't look like they're going to have any of them. What do you think?
Well, there's a lot of people that have that might be factor. They might be the next best thing, and we're going to have to see if they live up to their potential. But it's true. Back when Michael Jordan played basketball, you would watch those games with Chicago, and you thought, I'll never see anything quite like this. And for me, that's how it felt. That's how it is. You're saying something, and as a big fan, I hate to think of the days without these players, but right now they have a lot to live up to the next generation.
So listen.
So you're saying there's a Kobe Bryant and a LeBron James that are going to replace them.
And how can anybody get used to this, Rebecca? Bump, 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 bump. How can anybody get excited over that?
More to it than that. It's more to it. There's a real strategy, and that's something I love about Nadal's game. Is it's really like Ted's playing. It's thought out. Or he's always been considered slow on the court, and they actually now have a shot clock on the tennis courts to keep people, or they have to serve at a certain time, or they get stopped and penalized.
I've got 2 more. I've got.
These are tremendous athletes, and their hand-eye coordination is unbelievable. Maybe the best of any athletes. And there is just tons of strategy if you know a little bit about tennis that goes into these points and matches.
Let me ask this, and I got 2 more questions I want to ask you. One of them is, if I was walking out on the court and this guy hit me on his serve, he hit me first, would it hurt?
I'm sure a serve would hurt. They're going upwards to 130 miles an hour.
I was wondering how.
Think about that. A baseball pitcher that catches our attention throws the ball 100 miles an hour. These guys are hitting serves 130 miles an hour.
And it could really hurt, couldn't it?
Absolutely, and there is nothing that's against going for the tennis player's body like some sports. I mean,
do they go after each other if they get a chance? Do they try to hurt each other if they get a chance?
Yeah, sometimes.
I don't think it's a blood sport. They certainly do what's in their best interest to win the point.
Yeah. The other thing is, and I'll leave you alone. These three guys are the greatest players in the world. Which one is best on the different surfaces?
On the grass?
Yeah.
Right now, the all-court player is Novak Djokovic. He has won at least 2 on all of the Grand Slams. So right now, this year, he just won a second Roland Garros. That puts him where he's the leader as far as looking at him from surface to surface.
So he's the best. He's really the best in the world.
He's the best on all the courts, like Rebecca said, that he can play and win on all of them. Some of them do specialize on.
Roger and Rafa have won all the Grand Slams as well. It's just the fact that Rafa has only won Australia once, and Federer has only won Roland Garros once.
All right, Clay.
Apples to oranges on this. I mean, it's so close in the stats.
Well, my last question would be: Serena Williams in her prime played against some of these great men players, and basically, wouldn't you say she probably would be in the top 10 as far as just players on the planet?
No.
She probably could beat some men players, don't you think?
You say Serena, because you're saying Serena in her prime could beat Arthur Ashe in her prime.
Don't you think Serena would be good enough to beat a lot of professional men players?
I don't
She
know.
could,
Not now.
she could beat players. This is surprising, but it would seemingly be the people outside the top 100 that she would have had a good run at in her prime, as you're saying. But she has had those moments where they've had this discussion, and still it's amazing that there is a difference in the male and female game.
Yeah, they hit it harder. They hit it harder. Men hit it
Yeah,
harder.
she's been extraordinary. I mean, her prime and as an athlete, I mean,
Yeah.
she's just, unbelievable shape and strong.
And Navratilova was very athletic. I wonder in the prime who was the best out of those.
Out of the whole generation.
I mean,
I'd say Serena was better than all of those.
Yeah, but that was something. Of course, Rebecca, I tell you, I know there are a lot of people out there saying, "How does this girl know that?" But you do know a lot about tennis, and we've enjoyed it. And I know there's some tennis people out there. I don't know how many count them on your hand.
The Coxes, I know.
They've enjoyed your conversation.
Rebecca, they're predicting down here a big hurricane season. You were a meteorologist for several years. What are you hearing about hurricanes this year?
I have to honestly tell you that I haven't been following it, but I do believe in climate change, and I do believe that has something to do with everything we're seeing with the storms. And I hope everyone will be safe, because all of us with interest at the beach, nobody wants to see it destroyed, and people go through so much turmoil. So I hope for the best, but know that the reality could be something different down there.
Yeah, we've already had a tropical storm.
Yeah,
well, be careful being on the coast, Michael. Please come home if you need to. Come inland, because it's no need to wait it out, and you've already had so much flooding and problems in the past couple of years. You know all about it. But really, thank you for having me this morning, and hopefully, if it's just a casual viewer, they'll check up and watch some of Wimbledon and enjoy it, because there is a tradition.
It's called it breakfast at Wimbledon. I've eaten breakfast many times at Wimbledon.
It's like Augusta. It has all these unique traditions that no other tennis tournament has that I like.
It's a traditional thing to watch.
I'll watch Wimbledon when I won't watch any other tournament. That's for sure.
And they play on grass, and
they all wear. You got to wear white.
Yeah.
And, there's just a lot of.
And of course, it's really a place for the rich. I mean, I guarantee you won't see any everyday guys out there watching that match. They'll be all the wealthy.
No, was a big tennis fan, huge tennis fan, was Johnny Carson.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He would go to Wimbledon. I mean,
yeah. Thank you so much.
As they call it, queue up and line up, as they would say, or queue up and get tickets, the common person, if they wait in line. But it's true that by the end of this tournament, the Royal Box will be full of the names that we all see, and it's going to bring out the best of the best. So if you want to see those faces, you want to see Kate and William and the whole group, then this is the time to watch. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it brings on a lot of conversation about the difference in our culture. And oddly enough, for us as a family growing up on the 4th of July, where we're celebrating our independence, we're watching this British nostalgic event. But it's really wonderful that it's all on ESPN. You don't have to look past ESPN, all the coverage, including breakfast at Wimbledon, the final days of the championship.
Yeah, it used to be on NBC forever, so NBC doesn't even do it anymore. Breakfast with Wimbledon.
Not this year. It'll be all ESPN. I was just thinking the DVR before I called you guys.
Well, listen, thank you so much, Rebecca.
Have a good day.
And have a good 4th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Remember.
Bye-bye.
See you, Rebecca.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Who was that old codger that was from Boston that was on the Wimbledon coverage?
The same guy.
But yeah, it was great.
McEnroe is now the voice of tennis.
He's good. And his brother does it too. His brother's good too, Patrick.
And we didn't, it's a lot we didn't get into. And one thing is doubles. Is how popular is doubles now. McEnroe and his brother won doubles several times.
America does have some.
You want to take a commercial break?
Yes, sir. We will.
Oh man, I had a great point, but we'll take a commercial. I'll hold it.
Yeah, we'll hold it. We'll be back.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center. At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Right now, you can join Planet Fitness for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. We're keeping things squeaky clean with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out while you work out. And check out the crowd meter in our free app to pick the best time to visit. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Join in club or at planetfitness.com.
Planet Fitness is open in Troy. Join now for zero enrollment and $10 a month. Hurry deal ends June 8th.
$29 down and payment as low as $99 a month. Yes. Now through Monday, $29 down and $99 a month. Yeah. $29 delivered. Only at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Shop at PremierTroy.com. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Yeah, back to our show, brought to you by our good friends at Pike Tree Service, and they do a super job. I'm telling you, they cut down a tree next door to me. And I said, you're bound to hit my fence, aren't you going? I'm worried about you hitting my fence. He said, don't worry, and sure enough, he brought that big old huge log down exactly where he wanted to, and they're professionals. Also, our good friends at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, and of course, one of the great career opportunities in Pike County. Just call them and go out and see them, and before long, you might be driving a truck for Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, and a great career. Troy Bank and Trust Company, remember, the only bank you'll ever need is Troy Bank and Trust.
Is that one of the greatest Alabama songs of all time? Roll on 18-wheeler, roll on?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. No question. And of course, Michael, me and about 5 or 6 of us out in the viewing audience enjoyed that conversation. What do you think? I'm being facetious. I mean, a lot of people like her. Yeah, what I'm saying, tennis is just not a popular game, in my opinion, in Alabama.
But it's interesting to think about how it went from being popular to not so popular. Rebecca didn't say it, but Serena and Venus, they don't resonate with a lot of Americans. There's something about them that they really don't get behind them and get excited about them.
Well, and what I'm saying is just when these stars go out, and Sabina and the sisters have a lot to do with it, who will even know who the stars in women's tennis is?
Well, I couldn't, besides Serena and Venus, I couldn't name one American women's tennis player. I think they're a little better than the men.
Right.
And the men, I can't name one American professional tennis player.
But you know what? Look at them down the line over the years. I bet you I could name 20 star men's tennis players. 10. Starting with Rod Laver and Rosewall and Emerson. Just think of the Australian golfers. I mean,
if we want to get off the tennis conversation, I was looking at some information Paul Feinbaum put out yesterday about the top 20 football coaches going into the 2021 season. We all know who number 1 is.
Yeah, number 2. They're going to try to say number 2
number one is Nicholas Saban. Number 2 is pretty easy.
Dabo Swinney.
3 top coach in the country in college football would be who?
Well, it's not Urban Meyer anymore.
Oh, you mean not college? It's college football, not pros.
Number 3.
Top college football going into the 2021 season.
Are we basing it like on their winning percentage or national champ?
Dad's real high on this team this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oklahoma guy? No.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley.
And
Lincoln
number 4,
Riley.
you got Brian Kelly from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Number 5, a lot of people think he's overrated. Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know he can prove himself this year.
At number 6, Ryan Day, Ohio State. I might have had him in my top 5.
No, he hadn't been
too
really
early.
been
He
good
didn't have a
that
big
long.
enough body of work
I
yet.
know it. You're right.
But
number 7, Max Hall's favorite coach.
Okay.
Kirby.
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart. Okay. Man, he got.
I met Kirby Smart 2 times though. You're talking about a great personality and a down to earth, nice guy, man.
Is he?
So fun and easy to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, he must have that personality because he's always been a great recruiter, and so
And again, now he hadn't been out there that long, you know, as a head coach. You know.
This year's top 20 coaches for the 2021 football season. Number 8, Dan Mullen.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but you know, I lost a little from him in the bowl game. Didn't he sort of stink up the bowl game?
Dad, he had 7 starters not playing.
Well, it made him look bad. I'll tell you that.
Number 9, this guy's one of the hottest coaches in football. He's done a great job. Matt Campbell.
Who?
Matt Campbell. You never follow Iowa State football?
Mike, yeah, that's right. He's done pretty good.
Iowa State's done pretty good.
But
if you can do well at ask Gene Chiswick, if you can do well at Iowa State.
Yeah. What tickled me so much, it took me and Rice a long time to figure out who that guy was.
I thought it might be the Northwestern coach or something.
Who in the world would think Iowa State had that great a coach?
But you know, now that he says it, they do.
Number 10 is the oldest coach in college football.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown.
And then after that, this guy's stock has fallen. He was in the top 10 last year. Number 11, Auburn's going to play him later this season.
Penn State's coach, Franklin.
James Franklin, number 11.
Yeah, his stock has gone down a little bit. I don't know why.
Number 12, this guy has done a great job and been in a place for a long time. Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern.
Oh yeah, now he's done a great job. He's a defensive coach, isn't he, Mike? Mm-hmm. Is that what he does? Defense.
Yeah, defense. He was a really good linebacker in college too.
Yeah.
Now this is a guy that a lot of schools are interested in. I know he finished second to Neil Brown for the West Virginia job. Cincinnati's coach Luke Fickell is number 13.
Oh yeah, hey, you're right. He might be the hottest coach out there, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cincinnati could have played against anybody. I think they're quite a program.
Could have beat Georgia.
And you know, Troy went there and beat them 49-0 one year. I remember it.
This guy's number 14, and he likes to say, "Go Tigers."
Oh yeah, our guy at LSU.
Ed Orgeron. And number 15, this guy wears khaki pants.
Oh yeah. Khaki pants, that's what he's known for. That is all.
Hey, that was a good Orgeron. Do that Orgeron again. I like that.
Go Tigers.
You need to break out in that from time to time.
Yeah.
We need to check on the show.
Ed. We need to call Ed and get him on the line. And
Go Tigers.
You go out there.
See, Michael does it better than I do. I can't do it.
Exactly.
You think Ed Orgeron works in the waste management business?
Oh yeah.
That's what Tony Soprano always told people. He was in waste management.
Well, and I want you to tell.
It was like the Godfather was in the olive oil business.
And there's a Tony's coming back to the stage or to the screen. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, I heard that they're going to do like a younger version.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be good. But finish up.
Number 16. This guy is become a top recruiter in Alabama and used to coach at Florida International.
Cristobal.
Oh yeah,
Mario Cristobal. This guy's done a good job at Wisconsin. Paul Chris.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's done a good job.
This guy said, "I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm a man at Oklahoma State." Yeah.
Got his butt beat in Troy one time.
Mike Gundy.
Yeah.
And this guy has done an unbelievable job. Number 19 at Utah, Kyle Winningham.
Yep.
And then number 20, this guy wins 8 or 9 games, 10 games about every year. Bert Parent, Iowa.
Yeah, that's right.
That's your top 20 coaches in America, according to Paul.
Well, I see one person that was left off.
Anybody you would add to that list?
Yeah, Gus Malzahn is for.
He has. You're right.
He almost won a national championship. He did win one as an assistant coach, and should have won another one as the head coach. And he's beaten Alabama more than anybody else. And I would put Gus in there in the top 20.
I would think Gus would be at that job for several years, but in the past few years, it's always been a stop for a better job.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, who are the coaches at Central Florida? Recent coaches.
We had Frost, and then we had Josh Heupel, but now it's the coach.
So those are two pretty big.
It's been surprising to me that Frost hasn't done that well at Nebraska. I thought that was a no-brainer. That he was a Nebraska guy, had great success at Central Florida. But I've looked at Nebraska's record since he's been the coach. In your football magazine I stole from you, it's under 500. I mean, he's got in 3 years. Nebraska has a losing record under. This is the Nebraska that has one of the greatest traditions in the history of college football. Is won about 40% of their games in the last 3 years.
Phil Steele's magazine.
I can't believe Lane Kiffin's out of there. I mean,
you're right. I agree with you, Mike. I agree with you.
He's definitely one of the top 20 coaches.
And he, a lot of people forget he scored 47 or 49 points against Alabama.
Couldn't stop him. Couldn't stop that offense.
48. But then he won 2 conference championships at Florida Atlantic when he left Alabama. And he won a big bowl game.
Yeah, that's right.
Beat Indiana in the bowl game last year. He's a great coach.
Of course, you want to play golf this weekend. The Brundage Country Club is open and ready for you.
for us.
Good place, no question about it.
We want everybody to go out and buy a car for Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep as well. I'm sure they got some Fourth of July stuff.
I tell you what, Premier Dodge, and of course we appreciate Jason and all the people out there, and they're getting ready. Boy, you talk about the 4th of July, they can't wait to get out there and sell cars today, and they've got a tremendous selection of new and used cars to choose from. The other, I've just been a little bit concerned about, cars, being able to pick up to get cars in this kind of problem. But for some reason, it doesn't seem like Premier's having any problem. I don't know why. They've got plenty of cars on the lot, and of course, it's tough going right now, trying to get the cars, and
because there's supply disruptions.
But I was told by my friend that Jim Jackson is that they can get the car, but they've got to order it. In some cases, because that's the situation.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Just
they
because
get the car.
If you don't see a lot of cars on the lot, they can. If you want to pick one out, they can get it for you.
Exactly right.
Well, let's pull for the Mississippi State Bulldogs tonight. They're going for their first national championship in baseball at Central. They have been to the College World Series 12 times and have never won a national championship.
That's going to be fun.
So they split. It's 1-1.
The championship's tonight.
It's 1-1, yeah. So Mississippi State will play Vandy. Vandy won 2 national championships.
I was going to ask you, were there any cowbells?
What was the score of the second game? Give us some details. I don't watch TV anymore, so I don't know.
Mississippi State got up early and won 13-2, so they won big last night.
How about cowbells? Do you hear the cowbells?
What happened to Rocker's kid? Did he not pitch?
He's going to pitch tonight, probably.
He's pitching tonight.
Oh, well. Vanderbilt is going to win the national championship, then, don't you think?
Yeah.
Rocker's kid's about 6'4", about 220.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Rocker, his father, played at Auburn, was All-American, and then coached at Troy and did a great job for, what, 8 years, didn't he, Mike?
Got to start in coaching.
I think around 6 years.
Yeah. And of course,
so we're claiming this family and kid.
That's right. Troy, Alabama. That's where it is. He lived there here in Troy. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yes.
That kid.
I don't know if he was born. I think Rocker had left before.
You think he had? Okay.
Because he coached with Larry in the early '90s.
Yeah. One day I wanted to sit down and mention the coaches that have coached under Larry Blakeney. And you'll find almost every one of them, Mike, went on to better deals.
See, Blaney started in '91, and I want to say Rocker was on the original side.
Yeah, and Buddy, he had some good ones. Who was that running back that was so good, Mike? The transfer from Auburn.
DeMontre Carter?
No, the big guy.
Yeah, I remember him.
Ted Yarbrough?
Yes, sir. Boy, he was. You don't hear people talk about him as much, but he was a great running back. And Troy had him.
All right, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, we look forward to it, Mike. And I hope all of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. And Bill Rice is going to work hard, and I'm going to work hard to see you tomorrow at this same time for the Today in L.A. Have a good one.